Yes, my signal has told me I am supposed to be live streaming right now because we're talking about Dungeons and Dragons and adventuring gear, and Sam Riegel comes into it mainly because I actually remember watching one of the episodes where Sam um, pulled out his mirror and everybody had a good laugh at him, and I thought, well, that's kind of a bit rough. There's a good reason for having that mirror. Anyway, I'm doing on my sound check once the sound is all worked out, which it seems to be. I'm doing my little. I'm having a good sort of a shuffle around. You will find the start time for this video down in the description for those of you who want to skip past all of my rambling. But the video does go unlisted, and therefore you won't be able to access it unless you go through your notifications. But it is available for the patrons later on if they really wanted to. I will edit this version down, so this video or live stream will get edited down, so you can watch it at a later date if you can't hang around for whatever reason. But all the Q&A will be gone because it'll be trimmed in some way. Now, if you haven't been part of my live streams before, normally what I do is I present everything first and then I open up for questions and answers. And again, I went to the Dungeons and Dragons community and asked the appropriate question, and that is there anything you would like to help me with regard to trying to figure out what I can say to people about mirrors? As it happens, I actually did a whole bunch of research additionally on top of that because people didn't really come up with quite as many ideas as I had hoped, which is kind of a shame. But anyway, that's beside the point. Let's get on with the video, shall we? Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. And the topic for today is Sam Riegel says get a mirror for Dungeons and Dragons, or your Dungeons and Dragons 5e game. Now, look, why would you need to have a mirror? Well, honestly, there's lots of different reasons why you should have a mirror or why you should use a mirror in the game of Dungeons and Dragons outside of the normal applications that revolve around our normal day-to-day bits and pieces. Now, I did go to the community and I asked them on Facebook, can you please tell me how you would use a mirror in the game of Dungeons and Dragons? So I asked the question, I got a collection of answers, I then did some research myself, and I also spotted Sam Riegel one day. They got themselves into a situation where they actually needed a mirror to do something, and nobody had a mirror, and the only person in the party who had a mirror was Sam Riegel, and I thought that was just fabulous. So what can you use it? Well, Sam Riegel would say you can look at your own beautiful face. Now, I think when Sam says something like this, it's more in jest because what he's talking about is that he wants to look at his own face, not your face, his face. You can use that mirror for shaving off that facial hair if you need to shave your legs. If you want to shave the monster, but maybe simply, if you want to sort of scare the monster and give it a bit of a freak out, you can use it to shave in appropriate locations so that it can't stay warm anymore, and therefore you can use it sort of as a bargaining chip. You don't tell me what I want to know and I will shave you. So there's another reason why you might want to use your mirror. It makes it a little bit easier if you have a mirror when you're shaving. You can use it to determine if somebody is in disguise. Now, when I say in disguise, I don't necessarily mean you can just look in a mirror and figure out if somebody's in disguise. I'm talking about a particular individual who might be trying to be in disguise. As we know, if you wanted to determine if an NPC, you're trying to figure out if a vampire is in disguise, you use a mirror. Now, of course, don't pull out the mirror while they're right there in front of you, because then, of course, they're probably going to attack you as soon as you figure out that they are, in fact, not reflecting in the mirror. So, and if once you know they are a vampire, the gig is up. So make sure to do it when they're not looking. That's the best time. When else is a mirror really useful? Well, when you don't want to look directly into the eyes of anybody or a monster. So looking at the Medusa or Gorgon, as some people have gone on about, but it depends on which Gorgon are we talking about. Are we talking about the one for Dungeons and Dragons, or are we talking about the one that's related to the Greek mythology? That all sort of gets mishmashed. If you are trying to look at the Umber Hulk, use that mirror. If you're trying to deal with the Basilisk, use the mirror to indirectly look at them without actually looking at them, if you know what I mean. Of course you know what I mean. Of course you know what I mean. What about to reflect moonlight or sunlight to blind your enemies or to create some sort of distraction. I think that could work. I know it. I'm sure you can. It's been used before. We've seen it in movies many times. So absolutely use that for a distraction and for blinding somebody. What about if you need to use it for just looking around a corner? You don't want to stick your head around the corner. Stick your head around the corner, it gets blown off, right? So what you do is you put your mirror around the corner, just a little bit of it, just so you can see what's around the other side. Very, very simple technique, not hard to figure out. We've seen this all before. All easy techniques. So lots of good reasons why you might want to use it. What about if you need to signal some allies or somebody who's far away? You can use the mirror. If you don't have spells that can do that, you can just use light and a mirror and signal them when you're ready to move in with your ambush on a location or for whatever reason. So it's a good way of signaling to allies. Of course, it could also signal to your enemies, but hopefully they haven't figured out that you are using light and a mirror for that very purpose. It can be used to help you create a disguise for yourself. So if you've got a disguise kit, often part of the disguise kit is a mirror, and if you don't have a mirror or you need additional mirrors to help that process, or you're dealing with multiple individuals at the same time, trying to get the job done real fast, you're going to need more than one mirror. So make sure everybody has their own personal mirror so you can sort of decorate them up, rub in the oils and paint them up and use your makeup on them just to make everything look right and correct and so forth. The mirror is also used in the scry spell, although it does need to be a silver mirror, not just your standard mirror. So if you don't have a silver mirror, problematic, but certainly a mirror is involved in that spell. For many, many years, they've been using mirrors to create what's called the telescope. Now, of course, you need other components to make that possible, but a telescope allows you to see further. Now, you can buy a telescope in the player's handbook, but it's really expensive. So maybe making up your own telescope is a good idea for those of you who don't want the exorbitant prices that they are currently charging. I don't know where they come up with these prices, but apparently it's very, very expensive. You can use your mirror to reverse a message on a page or on a wall or wherever, and that sometimes messages are laid in a dungeon and they have been reversed. So by using your mirror, you can look at the picture or the image or the message, and it will reverse, and then you'll be able to read it because it has been reversed. One of the most common strategies and sneaky tricks that dungeon masters might play in your game is to reverse the message in some way, and therefore requiring a mirror to be able to decipher it would be really, really useful. Okay, what about if you want to create something like a periscope? Now, a periscope, again, a bit of fabrication required, but you still need mirrors for that, and that allows you to see over the top of things, around corners, but often really useful for seeing over the top of something, particularly if you can't reach up with your mirror to look above the wall, and so you need a bit of distance involved. So you're going to use a selection of different mirrors to create your periscope. You can use a mirror to collect sunlight to make an area that is dark lighter. By using the light reflected from the sun or the moon, you can reflect it into a location. Now, why would you do that? It might be that throwing in a torch or a pebble with the light spell cast on it would activate a trap. But something like this, just reflecting the light into that location, isn't going to activate the trap. It's not going to trip the tripwire. It's not going to activate the pressure plate. So a good reason to be using your mirror. Again, there's so many uses for the mirror. You can use the mirror to examine wounds that are hard to see or locations that are difficult to see or get at, which is again sort of another application of the periscope. Now this requires a lot of play by the dungeon master, and that is you could use the mirror to trap an evil spirit or demon depending on the nature and type of evil spirit or demon it is. If it's the kind of demon or creature or monster or spirit that requires a mirror to trap it, then you'll need that mirror. and you can't count on there being a mirror around at just the appropriate time so that you can use it to trap them in some way. So there are many different reasons, and as we know, witches often like mirrors, and mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? We know about this, don't we? So there's lots of different ways you can use the mirror. If you found this useful, fantastic. I have hundreds of videos for players and dungeon masters, which you are welcome to go and check out. Make sure, if you want to support the channel, make sure to check out my Patreon page, where you get access to the live streams that go unlisted on YouTube and priority on the videos that I make. I also have affiliate links to the book depository and Amazon if you want to support the channel so I keep doing videos. I also have a merchandise shelf down the bottom underneath the video, which you can go and check out and buy some stuff if you really feel like it. Make sure to share, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell button to be notified when I go live and when I publish new videos, and I do a lot of them. As it happens, many, many videos. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. I'm not gone. I just need to get my glasses on. Drink of water. It's better. And yes, I'm coming back. So if you have questions, feedback, maybe you've used a mirror in a different way that I haven't actually talked about today, this is a good time to actually talk about it. I've been working my way slowly but surely through all of the adventuring gear. And yes, who is Sam Riegel? Exactly. Hi Matt, how's it going? Talk is here. Sam does some crazy things in life. Yes, he does. He does some crazy things on Critical Role. But I'm using Sam as an example because I was trying to think of who could I use. I was originally going to use a picture of like the evil witch looking at the mirror, and then I thought, no, I won't use that. It's not that entertaining. I need something to capture your attention. What's that big kid? Fluffer-Mutter. It's a Fluffer-Mutter. That's right. Oh, by the way, big kid, I did shoot the Monster Tactics video on the Air Elemental. I now have hours and hours of editing to do. So it is in the works. I am working my way through it. You'll notice that my schedule of videos will start to slow down because I have worked my way through a lot of my backlog. So now I'm on to videos that I have to actually edit. And for every video that I edit, it's about 10 hours of work. So that's like a quarter of a week. So that's a lot of time on top of what I'm already doing. So it's going to be a lot slower. You will still get about 2 videos or 2 live streams and the cut down versions in a given day on the days that I'm officially working, you might say. All right, Matt, what do you got here? He is a cast member of Critical Role. That's right, he is. Hi, Darren. Thanks for that. Yes. Clash of the Titans. Clash of the Titans. Yes, I did pull I know what you're talking about, Clash of the Titans. I did pull out a picture from the Clash of the Titans with a picture of, now I can't remember if I can find it now. I probably can't. Trick mirrors, mirror, there it is, there we go. So the mirror that was used now this was obviously a magic shield. And a lot of people have said, well, you can't use a mirror to look at the Medusa because it has to be a magic shield mirror, or it has to be a magic mirror. But I think that's really getting a little bit carried away. There was, the shield was magical, but the mirror inside, was that actually a magical mirror? I think you're pushing your luck a little bit. Just talk to your dungeon master. You never know. It could work. Always worth a try. Give it a shot. The mirror on Shrek was the best. Yes, mirror on the wall. He was quite good. I almost used that, but then I thought, no, it's hard to take the piss out of that. It's a great movie, yes. I couldn't really take the mickey out of that, but I could take the mickey out of Sam Riegel, and I certainly could take the mickey out of mirrors. And I managed to find a image of Bill Murray, and I thought that was just fabulous. We'll add that to the mix. So I'm hoping that people are enjoying the videos on the Dungeons and Dragons adventuring gear and how you can use them. Make sure to share these videos. If you're a dungeon master, share them with your players so they watch them and they know what to do with their stuff. And if you are a player and there's other players in the game, share it with them so they watch it and they know what's going on. Matt, hi Matt, how's it going? Matt Foreman, hey man. Just a heads up, your Curse of Strahd videos have been super helpful as a new dungeon master running it. Matt, are you a new dungeon master running the Curse of Strahd? Seriously? If you are, man, do you deserve a medal. That is a hard adventure. It's a good adventure, but it's a hard adventure for a first-time dungeon master. If you're a new dungeon master and you're doing, yeah, oh gosh. All right, well, the good news is, Matt, that I am doing videos on the Curse of Strahd and the Lost Mine of Phandelver, and that will continue for quite some time. Although I will tend to pick out topics that sort of appeal to me with regard to the Curse of Strahd, so I won't necessarily do it in any particular order. And of course, it won't even help because Curse of Strahd is a sandbox and you could wind up going anywhere. Now, like I said, the use of a mirror can be applied to any adventure. It doesn't even have to be Dungeons and Dragons 5e. The use of a mirror can be used in lots of different adventures. How's it going, Don? Would a mirror work on a basilisk? So here's the thing. I feel like it should work fine. The basilisk needs to have direct line of sight to you. But again, it's going to be determined by what your dungeon master says is going to work. I think you'd still have disadvantage since it's not direct targeting. Yes, you might have disadvantage on your attack roll, but that's sort of beside the point. I mean, some of the mechanics around these creatures sort of allow for you to look at the creature, determine its location, and then look away. I feel like that's sort of, is that legit? Because the targeting of the creature's ability, for example, is only going to take place at a certain time in the round or in the turn. And therefore, what a player does is they try to sort of do it in such a way that they know where the creature is, but they don't have direct line of sight. And I feel like a mirror is a much more sensible way for dealing with something like the Basilisk, the Umber Hulk, and the Medusa. Or Medusas. Medusa. I mean, Medusa is it's in the monster manual. Why not? And then a little bit of, a bit of pizza, a drink, some bribery with the dungeon master, and she's all good. What's that, Matt? There is also an awesome Reddit post about how to help flesh it out. Yeah, I believe there have been quite a few Reddit posts and so forth. I don't actually pay too much attention to the Reddit posts because although there are good ideas there, I do tend to pull a lot of the stuff that I am talking about from my own personal experience and what I did. So you'll notice that I don't do Dungeon Master guides on, Out of the Abyss. I don't do a Dungeon Master guide specifically on how to run that because I never did it. I never actually ran that game. I played in it briefly, but I never actually ran it. So I tend to stick with the things that I know. What's that, Matt? Did you say slide it under a door to peek in? No, I didn't say slide it under the door. I was going to say that, but then the problem is when you slide a mirror under a door, if there's a space for the mirror to go, you can't actually see the mirror, can you? The person on the other side can see, if they're hiding to the side, they can see the mirror, but you wouldn't necessarily be able to see the mirror yourself. That really, the only time that's going to probably work, I suspect, Matt Nerdy, is if you have a really big gap underneath the door. And if that's the case, the chances are there are other ways determining if there's somebody on the other side of the door by just looking underneath the door and not using a mirror at all. Although I suppose you could say, you can use a mirror and poke it underneath a door. I didn't put that in there, but it really requires a really, really big gap to be able to make that work. What's that, Don? You like that answer? Very sensible. I try to keep sensible here. I lie. Sometimes I don't get sensible, but in this case I am being sensible. Not always the case. There will be times when I go completely wonky, and that's usually an indication that I have been doing too many things. Anyway, I'm really hoping that people are enjoying these videos. They will continue for a little bit longer. There's still a few more pieces of adventuring gear that we need to talk about. So, like I said, make sure to share these videos with other people once they go up on YouTube and they are accessible. And I'm going to start trucking off and doing something else. Because, would you believe it, I have other things to do. Like a lot of other things to do. Like seriously, a lot of other things to do. So have a good night, morning, afternoon, day, wherever you are in the world. Look after your family and your friends. And, whoops, what's that, Scott? Sorry, I'm late. Hey all, I like the idea of using a mirror in 5e. Good, good. Make sure to share the video with other people. Okay, and hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.